back to another episode of Homebrew EDH, where I take you through my personal commander decks, how they work, and how they win. Happy Sunday, hope you all are doing well. This episode is Lathliss Dragon Queen, a mono-red dragon tribal deck that just aims to get a bunch of mana, play a bunch of dragons, and swing for the win. This deck is very simple and straightforward. We play a bunch of mana, play some rituals, play a bunch of dragons. When they enter, we make more dragons, and then we swing. So yeah, it's a pretty easy list. My favorite cards for this one do happen to be a bit more expensive on that side of things. Ancient Copper Dragon, probably the most expensive card in the entire list, coming in at about $75. So it's really good. You hit somebody, roll d20, make that many treasure tokens, which then lets us cast more dragons into more rituals, into more dragons, into more tokens, and all that good stuff. I do like Gannix here as well, 5 mana, 3/4 flyer. Whenever it or another dragon enters, we make another treasure token, which is pretty cool. And speaking of all those treasure tokens, Goldspan Dragon makes those treasures even better. It's a 4/4 flyer with haste that costs 5 and lets our treasures add 2 mana instead of 1, which is a big deal because with that 2 mana we can activate Lathliss with 1 treasure rather than 2 treasures and actually buff up our board that way. The only other real big way out for this deck is Terror of the Peaks, 5 mana, 5/4 flyer, basically has ward to pay 3 life, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, most notably our opponent's faces. This is again about a $16, $17 card, so a little bit up there, but it's not too bad. Zirlin of the Claw is another fun one, 5 mana, 3/4 that has a dragon tutor on a stick. You can pay 3, tap him, find a dragon, put it on the battlefield, and then it has haste, but it does get exiled at the end of the turn, which we can actually kind of get around, at least I think, with the flicker from Conjurer's Closet, because you can layer the effects. Please let me know if I'm wrong, I'm kind of guessing here, but you could layer it to where the creature blinks and then doesn't have that ability anymore. But again, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. That way I'm not playing the deck wrong and nobody else plays the deck wrong. That is always another way to win the game, is just find a bunch of dragons and have Terror of the Peaks do the job. So we do have Reforged the Soul, which is getting a reprint here in a couple of weeks. We've got Innistrad Remastered coming out. We finally get a Reforged the Soul reprint, which is pretty cool. Another fun card that I found that exists is Geosurge. It's 4 red mana for sorcery that adds 7 red mana that we can cast artifacts or creature spells with, which for our deck is honestly all we really care about, is getting those big creatures out on time. The other thing here is Kindred Charge in the sorcery department, 6 mana, I can't count, that says choose a creature type. For each creature you control of the chosen type, create a token that's a copy of that creature. They gain haste, and then we exile them. So we basically can clone our entire board if we have enough out, and just kind of go for the win that way as well. In the instance department, it's pretty standard. We've got a bunch of slight damage or artifact removal. We've got Chaos Warp, that kind of thing. Deflecting Swat as a just in case, along with Flare of Duplication, which lets us copy a spell if we need it. We got a couple of removals with Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast. Obviously got a couple of rituals as well. Seething Song, we've got Desperate Ritual, and that good stuff as well. And a good one to always have on hand is Valakut Awakening, that lets us put the cards in our hand to the bottom of our library and then draw that many +1, which is I think slightly better than like a windfall kind of effect, because we still get to keep the cards in our deck, which is pretty good. In artifacts, it's pretty standard there as well. We do have Commander's Plate, which buffs our commander and gives it that little bit of protection. Conjurer's Closet, I kind of mentioned earlier, it will blink something at our end step, which I hope can get around the Zirlin of the Claw exile clause, but I'm honestly not sure. Gauntlet of Power lets us buff our creatures slightly because they're red, and we can tap all of our basic mountains for double that mana, which is pretty good. Also, Herald's Horn is a solid include here. 3 mana artifact, choose a creature type, in our case dragons, they cost 1 less, and at the beginning of our upkeep we can look at the top card of our library. If it's a creature that is the chosen type, we can reveal it and put it into our hand, which can give us a little bit of extra, I guess technically card draw, but it's not really drawing. So kind of like that. Ruby Medallion also helps here, reduces our red spells. And a fun one is Throne of Eldraine, 5 mana artifact, choose a color. When it enters, you can tap it to add 4 mana of the chosen color, in our case obviously red, only to cast monocolored spells of that color, which honestly affects just about everything in this deck aside from the artifacts themselves. In the enchantments, not too much going on here. We do have Fervor, which gives our creatures haste, just as a static effect. Aggravated Assault is 5 mana for an extra combat if we need it. Blood Moon to stop the multicolored decks out there. And Dragon Tempest to give all of our flyers haste when they enter. And when a dragon enters, it deals X damage to a creature or player, where X is the number of dragons we have. In the lands department, we don't have too much outside of the basic mountains. We do have a couple of certain things. I have Arena of Glory, which can tap a red to tap for 2 red to gain haste for a creature spell that we cast with it. Cavernous Souls to make our dragons uncounterable. Haven of the Spirit Dragon. We got 28 mountains. A Nykthos for the mono red devotion. Valakut, which is a lot of fun to mess with the other mountains. We can have it just start lightning bolting stuff, which is pretty neat. And then we have War Room, which is pay 3 and a life, because our commander's only 1 color, to draw a card. So kind of a just in case for card draw on that, but still a good card nonetheless. And honestly, that about wraps it up, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. I will have episodes like this out every Sunday. Deck list will be in the description as usual. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care until then, and have a good one. 雨が頬を濡らす